The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution is one of the 10 amendments that make up the Bill of Rights. It was ratified in 1791 and states, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed." The Second Amendment protects the right of individuals to keep and bear arms. This amendment has been the subject of much debate and interpretation throughout American history. Some people argue that the amendment was intended to protect the right of individuals to own guns for self-defense and other lawful purposes, while others believe that it was intended to protect the right of states to maintain militias and that it does not guarantee an individual right to own guns. In 2008, the Supreme Court ruled in District of Columbia v. Heller that the Second Amendment protects an individual's right to possess a firearm for traditionally lawful purposes, such as self-defense within the home. However, the court also stated that this right is not unlimited and that certain regulations on gun ownership, such as background checks and restrictions on certain types of weapons, are permissible. The Second Amendment remains a highly controversial and divisive issue in American society, with passionate arguments on both sides of the debate. Gun control refers to the efforts to regulate the manufacture, sale, possession, and use of firearms. The issue of gun control is highly controversial and often involves a balance between the right to bear arms, as protected by the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, and the need to ensure public safety. Proponents of gun control argue that stricter regulations on firearms can reduce gun violence and save lives. They often advocate for measures such as universal background checks, restrictions on certain types of weapons, and limits on the number of firearms an individual can own. Some also support measures such as red flag laws, which allow law enforcement to temporarily remove firearms from individuals deemed to be a danger to themselves or others. Opponents of gun control argue that law-abiding citizens have a constitutional right to own firearms for self-defense and other lawful purposes. They often argue that gun control measures are ineffective at reducing crime and may even make it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves. Some also argue that gun ownership is a deterrent to crime and that efforts to reduce gun violence should focus on enforcing existing laws and addressing underlying social issues. The debate over gun control is ongoing, with different states and municipalities enacting their own regulations on firearms. At the federal level, there have been efforts to pass new gun control legislation, but these efforts have faced opposition from lawmakers who support gun rights.